Hi, welcome. Can everybody hear me well? Okay, I don't think I have to be that close. Maybe that's okay. Yeah, good. Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Beata Wilczek, and today I would like to talk to you a little bit about what this panel in general is, which is virtual bodies and virtual fashion. And we can, oh, good. I will start talking a little bit what is Unfolding Strategies, a company that I founded, what is digital fashion, what can you do with it, and what's up with body and Web3, or actually more Web 2.5, because this is something where we're heading, but we're not there yet. So Unfolding Strategies is a consultancy and education lab for digital, diverse, and sustainable fashion in Web3 or Web 2.5. We educate, train, and consult with fashion lifestyle brands on digital fashion, social responsibility, and sustainability. And the things that we do and that we offer is, on one hand, on-site and virtual training. We also do a podcast that we're very proud of that actually started in a classroom, so I think it's a very fitting space that I'm here today. And we also do strategy and research with various partners. Our podcast talks about things like virtual humans, digital clothes, clean NFTs, and generated fashion, so very fitting for today's topic. And with our podcast, we were always aiming and bringing together different leaders in digital fashion, and that means not only CEOs, but also people who are actually actively as designers shaping digital fashion as it is today, such as, for example, here, Beata Wilczek and Harriet Davy. So we work with, here you can see, many different people, but also we are featured in some nice press and magazines. So now we are, for example, a partner for Foreign Incubator in Berlin, which is a quite exciting journey because we joined a program that they're doing with Unity, Zalando, and Cornet Digital. So why did I even start and found Unfolding Strategies? What's the reason? Well, I believe that fashion needs action after spending 10 years, or almost now 15 years, to be honest, working with fashion industry, but also fashion education. I really could see that fashion needs action. And if we say that fashion manifests the zeitgeist, and there's something new in fashion, then it's definitely bringing digital and sustainable together. So we want to future-proof and reimagine the fashion lifestyle industries, fight towards climate-positive and diverse fashion futures, and embrace digital and address the climate crisis. As my favorite philosopher, Rosie Braidotti, says, it's not like, digital transformation happens on Monday and climate crisis happens on Wednesday. And we also think about those shifts that are happening now with fashion as a sort of cultural transformation. So to us as Unfolding Strategies, fashion is a complex ecosystem and cultural fabric, not only an image and a product. And it's also not something that's, an activistic spirit or something that we really feel passionate about. It's also something that's reflected in current and next generations' needs and desires, because transparency, care, and sustainability already define new lifestyles and consumer goals. So what actually is digital fashion, and what can we do with it? So if we are looking for definitions, and I hope many people in the room know what digital fashion is or have a glimpse of it, but if we were somehow to define it, we could say that digital fashion refers to fashion that has been created with the use of digital tools such as Marvelous, Clo3D, and many, many others, and or with purpose of being virtual or phygital good. So digital fashion can be virtual only, and this is the part that's interesting because now we started thinking that fashion or a dress, a t-shirt, can only exist virtually, and this is a form of ontological shift because suddenly those products are different. And we can see a lot of applications in gaming, social media, and collecting. And if you think that you never experienced digital fashion, you might be wrong. Because, for example, if you ever tried on a filter, like this lovely cabbage bucket hat that we see on the left-hand side, you definitely did. Because wearing garments can also happen through lenses or filters. You can also experience them on many different platforms that I'm going to talk about in a second, such as this Gucci wearable. So you can wear your Gucci blazer on Zepeto or different platforms. You can also have a collectible. This is, for example, a collaboration with Dematerialize, where you can just have a little designer in front of you and just, place them here on a table, if you please. Or Phigitals, the part that to me personally is the most interesting one, where we actually bridge together the physical and the digital, thinking how to expand the both notions and blend them. So what is exciting about digital fashion is that it has a few promises. And I think about those promises also as very conflicting paradoxes at the time. So one, it's that it's sustainable, or it offers certain sustainable, it can support sustainable development goals in fashion. Second one is accessibility, because more people can access fashion through diving into digital fashion. And the third one is limitless creativity, because you can do almost anything. But if we unpack those claims, we can start thinking that actually sustainability is a one thing in digital fashion. So there's a lot of new digital products which can diversify, for example, brands' portfolios, but they also have a certain environmental impact, and we still don't know very much about it. So as much as we like to think that replacing garments with digital garments would work, we need to also see ourselves as this is really gonna happen. So the question, can we replace our clothes with virtual garments, is the one that's something that lets us think about it a little bit more, because basically the answer is time will show. But we need to also be very mindful of different carbon footprints and implications of digitization of fashion. The second one is a question of accessibility and digital divide. Some of you might know that we already, as humans, we reached 8 billion, I think on 15th of November, so 2 weeks ago. So there's many of us. And if we think about accessibility in digital fashion, on one hand, it's great because you don't have to go study in Antwerp, Milan, Paris, and London to be a part of the fashion industry. Much more people can access it and partake. But then it's also something that really very much contributes to a digital divide or digital gap. So the question, who can participate in digital fashion metaverse, I think is also a very, very important one. And first, last but not least, it's a question also of what can you do, and also of aesthetics. Because if there is a limitless creativity, and I can thrive, here's images from Ouroboros and a fabricant with buffalo, if I can do garments that are made of snow or they're made of ice, but they're also on fire, that's fun, that's fantastic, amazing. But then also it offers in a certain way very singular aesthetic. And I'm not trying to say that digital fashion designers are bad, no, but we are used to certain cues from sci-fi, cyber, however we could call it. So it's also important to think, how can we plurify the digital fashion aesthetics? And I think this is something that we will see in next years, that this aesthetic will be broadening and it will be stretching, and we will see a bit more. And I think I saw already a little bit of that today in the students' exhibition at the playground here. So if we know that there is this fashion that has those inherent paradoxes or promises, the question is also, okay, but what I would do with it? What can I do with digital fashion? Why do I even need it? So obviously, you can own it and collect it. You can also co-design it, which is quite interesting and I think vital part of it in certain scenarios, obviously, not always. You can resell it. This is very linked to the virtual goods and the way they're being traded and marketed, but also you can wear them. And usually the question is like, oh, but how can I wear it? Why would I wear it? Or digital fashion doesn't make sense because I cannot wear it. Well, you can wear it on your body in a way that you can wear a fidgetal, or you can wear a filter, like we saw with the cabbage bucket hat, or we see with this one of the first famous fabricants garments. There's also many research on real cloth simulation. This will be something I think quite fantastic once we see it. Or you can even send your photo and have a garment Photoshop. This is something that DressX does. So this would be a way of virtual dressing, doing virtual fitting. What in the past we would consider a lie, because you're not wearing that, now becomes another way of putting garments on your body on image. And when it comes to another more virtual-only spaces, it's more about gaming, skins, social media, and what we call today the metaverse. And this part I would like to dive deeper into. This is a very big slide with a lot of information, but basically when we can wear today digital fashion, we can think about particular platforms such as Decentraland, Zepeto, Meta, Roblox, and View. They have very different amounts of people entering them. They're located in not so very different places geographically. But these are the platforms that are offering us now collective experiences with our avatars. I'm also not looking particularly into specific games, so just to keep that in mind. So those platforms offer very, very different avatars and very different body experiences, and they have very also different internal regulations. If anyone ever tried to design a garment, for example, for Decentraland and Roblox, they know these are very two different experiences. So when we were looking at that and thinking like how those bodies are different and how they redefine fashion, because you wear virtual fashion on some sort of a body, because apparently you don't want to be naked in metaverse or on platforms that you're attending. So we were thinking, what is it like to create my own avatars across different platforms? And this was the question we felt like, okay, where is this place for this multiplied virtual body? And we started looking into it with Alia and Julia. Alia was my research intern. She's a student now at Artes. And Julia is my fashion communication assistant on following strategies. And we were thinking, okay, what are the categories we should look at? And we started digging into a bit deeper, and we established 5 so far. We're working on it. I presume there obviously should be more, but this is our starting point. So how easy was it to create a modified avatar? Is your body type represented and achievable? So this is diversity. Is fashion easily accessible and diversified? So this is wearability. Can you at the same time choose between the realistic and fantasy cyber representation? We called it a fluidity. This is a tricky one. And last but not least, what are the aesthetics? How would you describe them? How would you describe aesthetics and visual style? The categories from 1 to 4, we basically graded them on scale from no to max. It's quite straightforward. And then first, Ali and Julia went to the Decentraland. And this is the body the Decentraland gave them. Customization was very low. Diversity was judged by them super low. As you can see, they almost look like twins. So there is not much of a differentiation, and aesthetics they described as pixelated. Obviously, if you think about wearability, there's much more wearability in the Decentraland once you purchase garments. Then with MetaBody, it's a little bit different. There's much more wearability, a little bit more of customization, but still, if you think about their bodies, they're very, very much similar. Zepeto, it's a Korean platform. It gives much more of choices, so customization was more accurate, and as you will see in a second, this is actually how Alia and Julia almost look like. The same was judged by them with wearability. This is, on the other hand, the Roblox body, so that's my personal favorite. I find it quite funny. And obviously here, you know, if we think about aesthetics, we could say that they're chunky or pixelated or almost Lego-like. And the last but not least, IMVU body is something that takes you closest to Bella Hadid, but gives you a very, very tiny head. And here, diversity is judged almost on the lowest level, with wearability is a tiny bit higher. So this is how actually Alia and Julia look with all of their different avatars across different platforms. So there's many questions that can raise, you know, what does it mean to us if we suddenly imagine that we have all those different bodies across different platforms? One is your working body, one is somewhere else, one is, I don't know, to work out. It definitely has a lot of implications. There's also a question how companies, you know, give choice to us, how we can actually see ourselves, perceive, and function those environments. So on average, we can see that diversity and fluidity are the parameters that were really not great. This is, by the way, Alia and Julia on the left. This is how they really look like, so you can get a glimpse. And the results that we got from that even though Zepeto, on the parameters that we assess, kind of scored high, all those black cells indicate that there is still a lot of work to be done. And there's a lot of potential about thinking about diversity and body representation in different platforms or metaverses. So it's an important question to say, how do you support diversity and define identity for your users? And how this identity is represented in their body types? In order to answer those questions, and because we really enjoy doing that, we decided to start a project which is called the Web3 Body Atlas. So the Web3 Body Atlas is a collaborative project that we invite everyone to join. You can support us and collaborate with us by basically scanning this QR code and dropping the body of your own avatar and asking a few questions. So yeah, I will really invite you to do that. And if you have any questions or would like to, you know, join this project, I don't know, do a workshop with us or listen to our podcast, you can also always drop me an email. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.